Greetings, loved ones. In today's video, as most of you guys know, the Yeezy 700 is coming back. So I will be teaching you guys how to cop this shoe. Now, to be more specific, other than how to copying, like always with these how to cop guides, we'll be talking about some release info, obviously how to cop them, and some resale predictions for the Yeezy 700. Now, before I jump right into the release info, I just wanted to say, I'm sorry if I can't respond to your comments this week. It is SAT week, so right after SATs are over, I can definitely answer all your questions. Just this is a difficult time for me to do that. Okay, so these shoes will be releasing on March 10th. If you're wondering about the times, on Adidas.com, these usually release around 10 a.m. Eastern time. However, we have seen in the past it was like around 9 a.m. Eastern time, sometimes as late as 12 p.m. Eastern time with power phases. So it's just something that you have to be on the lookout for, but for the most part, it is around 10 a.m. Eastern time. Now, YeezySupply.com is another place they will be releasing, and on YeezySupply.com, unfortunately, it is completely random, and with a very limited release like this, it is very common that they might release in the middle of the night, so you do want to make sure that you have tweet notifications on for Yeezy Mafia. The retail price for these shoes will be $300 US. However, you probably will have to pay $20 for shipping if you are ordering off of Yeezy Supply. Also, I understand that some of you guys were wondering, no, they will not be on Adidas confirmed, unfortunately. This is an online release only. In addition to that, we will not see these on any foot sites. We won't see these on any consortium sites. But with that out of the way, let's get right into how to cop these shoes. Let's talk about how you can get yourself a pair of Yeezy 700s for retail. The first place we're going to talk about is Adidas.com. Now, as most of you guys know, well, you should know by now, Yeezy's always released via a splash page. It is never first come, first serve on Adidas.com. It is always a waiting room where you basically sit there and you just wait in a queue, hoping to get in, pick your size, and successfully check out. Like always, that will be the case for this one, so as all my subscribers know, and if you've watched any of my Adidas videos before, you guys know that we're gonna have to use the multiple people jig. Now, I've mentioned the multiple people jig and how to specifically do it, how to set it up, some problems you might run into in many videos. However, I understand some of you guys are new to the channel. I won't be mentioning how to do it in this video because I understand it's tedious for a lot of my subscribers to hear it constantly over and over again. So I will make a specific video tuned for the multiple people jig. I will upload that maybe tomorrow or whenever, I don't know, somewhere this week for all you guys who don't know what the multiple people jig is. Essentially just how to get your pair on Adidas.com successfully. So be on the lookout for that video because honestly guys, Adidas.com is probably your best shot if you are using the multiple people jig. You don't just have to use the multiple people jig on one computer. You could use the multiple people jig on like 7 computers. So obviously the more Chrome users you're gonna have, the greater your chance is gonna be. With Adidas.com out of the way, I will make a video, like I said, a little later. But for Yeezy Supply, I understand a lot of you guys are wondering, Keith, how exactly are we supposed to cop off of Yeezy Supply if we don't even know when they're supposed to release? Well, I already made a video going in depth on how to order off of Yeezy Supply, some problems you might run into, and most importantly, I discussed the LTE jig, which is a way for you to get into Yeezy Supply before Yeezy Mafia makes the tweet about it going live, because if you haven't noticed, it takes Yeezy Mafia about like a minute or so for the tweet to go out, for them to type up the tweet, or if they copy and paste it, it still takes a decent amount of time, and that 20 to 30 seconds to even a minute of time can be the difference between you copying the shoe and not copying the shoe. So with the LTE jig, you are essentially able to spam a bookmark, because as most of you should know already, you can't refresh the Yeezy Supply password page because then you'll stay there. You're just refreshing YeezySupply.com/password and you're just gonna stay there even when it goes live. So what you have to do, you could type it in constantly, like just type in YeezySupply.com over and over again. What I prefer to do, I like to make a bookmark. But the problem with making a bookmark is that if you spam it too much, which you should be spamming it so you get in, you'll get temporarily banned for about 2 minutes, and it's very frightening because you're saying, what if the shoe goes live while I'm banned? And it doesn't just ban you on that computer. It's an IP ban that lasts for around 2 minutes, so you won't be able to use any device on your Wi-Fi. So what we essentially did instead, we used our phones, we put them on LTE so they couldn't be traced to our IP address. Now you could still get banned on LTE, but the beautiful thing about being banned on long-term evolution is that it is a completely different gateway than your IP address. So if you happen to get banned on your phone, you could just switch to another phone and turn that one on to long-term evolution, and you just keep spamming the link that Yeezy Mafia tweets out. If the password page is still there, you click done and you go back, and you guys get the gist of it. If you want to hear me go more in depth into this, talk about all the problems you may encounter, I encompass everything on Yeezy Supply, all the things you need to know in my previous video, so be sure to check it out if you haven't already. Now, one of the most highly requested things that you guys have been talking about is, Keith, what are your resale predictions? Will these shoes resell or will they not? Because $300 is it's a pretty penny. It's a high price to pay. So right now, if you go to StockX.com, you'll notice that resale is about $800, somewhere around there. Some sizes being around like $1,300, $1,200. Meanwhile, some are like $600, $700. So it's just floating in that vicinity. And now, obviously, prices will take a heavy dip. Prices will drop dramatically when these shoes release, or simply as we get closer to the release. But what's important for noting here is that there's demand for the shoe. We know that this is still the most limited boost shoe, so clearly there are people who are willing to pay heavy money for this shoe. So it's obvious that if they take an L on this release, which is very likely because this is going to be a very limited release, they will be willing to pay resale. Now you're wondering exactly, Keith, is it enough resale though to make profit after fees on StockX or Go, and perhaps paying shipping when you're selling via PayPal, and then that 3% PayPal fee? So here are some things that I considered when making my prediction. When I went over to YeezySupply.com, the stock said low. Now I believe that for the original Zebra release and for the Yebra release too, pretty sure Yeezy Mafia classified those as very low. So I'm not exactly sure if these are going to be as limited as those releases were initially, but it's still important to note that these are going to be low. They are going to be limited. Another thing that I found interesting was when someone asked what are the stock numbers are going to be, or something around those lines, Yeezy Mafia replied with how many months are in a year. Now obviously sometimes Yeezy Mafia just has no idea what they're talking about, so they talk very vaguely about things.
Wait till you see the no look at the top of his head. Look at his lips.
So you can't scapegoat them when things go wrong. But it is definitely possible that Yeezy Mafia is referring to the release stock being 12,000 pairs. That could be a possibility. Or perhaps they were just being sarcastic by replying like, yes, obviously I know what stock numbers are. Do you know how many months are in a year? Obviously you know that too. So I'm thinking that maybe it's just a little bit of sarcasm, but it's definitely possible that there's only going to be 12,000 pairs releasing. This is just some stuff that I wanted to consider when making my prediction. And now obviously guys, this is not advice. I'm not telling you that you have to buy this shoe to resell it. I'm not telling you that you will make money. These are simply predictions. I'm just sharing with you my thoughts. I'm sharing with you my thoughts based off of the information I was provided with, because obviously I can't know exactly what stock numbers are, but I do know that there is demand for this shoe. So in my opinion, guys, you don't have to take this advice. It's up to you. You pull a trigger if you want to, but just my opinion, I think that you should be able to make some profit considering that the price is already floating around $800 to $1,000. I think maybe they'll dip to around like $400 to $500, meaning that after seller fees, you could still make maybe like $50 to $100, which that's a fair amount of resale. That is a good resale amount, but obviously there's always a chance that these shoes could brick. So it is completely up to you what you want to do. I'm just going to cop this shoe for personal wear because honestly, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of grew on me. I'm not a huge fan of the colorway, but I just really love the silhouette of the 700. For instance, those white 700s that may potentially be releasing with the gum bottoms, I'm in love with those. The all black ones, not so much, but those white with the gum ones, I really do like, and it really made me realize how much I like the 700 silhouette. So leave in the comments what you guys think, like, hey, are you going to buy this shoe for personal wear, or are you simply going to be reselling it, or do you think they're going to brick I'm not going to be able to respond to every single comment since it is SAT week. I will try to get to as many as possible. But with that, I am out of here, guys. So feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed, if you perhaps learned something. Also, feel free to subscribe to this awesome community. We're always giving each other insightful and helpful tips. So have a fantastic day. I will be making that video on the multiple people jig for those of you who aren't too familiar with it. So with that, good luck and have a fantastic rest of your day.
You always tell me where you should be stepping. Using your shoe like a size 12 weapon. Get your foot off my foot. Ah.
Get your foot off my foot. Yeah.
Now I can't run and I can't walk. You hit me so hard I don't want to talk. Get your foot off my foot. Ah.
Get your foot off my foot. Yeah.
Why are you always in my way? Knocking me over every single day. Get your foot off my foot. Ah.
Wait till you see the. No, 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 no. Ah, look at the top of his head.